Load Board Pro for 6 months. The best tool for serious carriers. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to get 20% off Load Board Pro for 6 months. Need capital to grow your business or cover unexpected expenses? Rock Financial has your back. Whether you're looking for a flexible line of credit, a fast cash advance, or tailored working capital solutions, Rock Financial makes it simple to get funded, often in as little as 24 hours. No hidden fees, an easy application, and real support from people who know the business. Ready to take your hustle to the next level? Tap the link in the description to get started with Rock Financial today. Wish insurance was this easy? With LogRock, it's like magic. Real coverage appears when you need it. No tricks. Get covered now. Click the link in the description.
Warning. The following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sweet.
What's up? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Come on. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. If you are in need of insurance, commercial insurance for your box truck business, cargo van business, semi-truck business, there's a link in the description below for LogRock. LogRock, official sponsor of the channel. Up for renewal, looking for a cheaper commercial insurance solution for your box truck, cargo van, or semi-truck business. Click that link in the description below for LogRock for all your commercial insurance needs. Come on in. Click that like button.
Sweet.
Channel. Oh, let's see what we got going on. Shout out to Mona. Is it Monet or is it Mona? Is it Monet or is it Mona? Let me know, but appreciate you anyway. Part of the MGM. Shout out to Walk. Shout out to Kelvin Burt. Shout out to Ty in the building, representing Cleveland. Shout out to Ben Uzi in the building. Shout out to Asma Rowe. And shout out to all the models. Shout out to Ben Hustle in the building. What up? What up? Shout out to Moving Company Hustle. Shout out to V Styles. Frank Sinatra, 3 degrees in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's cold here too. Last I checked, it was 11. Yeah, it's a little warmer now. It's 13 when it's negative under 0 with the wind chill. So yeah, it's cold. Got really cold last night. It's cold out there now. I wasn't going to do a live, but it's cold. So I'm probably not going nowhere. So I said, skip it. I'll jump on the live. Man. It's too cold to go outside. It's too cold. I ain't going out there just to be going out there. It's cold. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. I may go to the gym, but I may just I got a gym in the building. I may just go to the gym in my building. You know, it's cold out there. But come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. Shout out to Tom in the building. Tom said Vince says a Chris 65 in Cali. Yeah, it's like below 0 with the wind chill here. It's cold. It's cold. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications. All right, boom. We here though. We here though. You know what I'm saying? Today we gonna have a history lesson. We're gonna have a history lesson today. Sometimes you gotta go back in the past so people can understand, you know, the present. And this is something that I've touched on throughout the years here and there in other live stream lectures that I've done, but I've never really devoted a particular live stream to itself to kind of really break it all down. I understand why things are the way they are. That's why it's easy for me, and it was easy for me, and it's easy even in this space of talking about trucking to navigate through it in comparison to my peers that create content, not just because of my level of experience and my tenure, but I just understand why things are the way they are. And when you understand why things are the way they are, you don't say stupid shit. And when I say stupid shit, it's some of the things that I tell you that people say all the time that just doesn't make sense, like cheap freight and things of that nature. And I've gone into, explaining this in the past, but we're going to talk about it today. A lot of the reason why things are the way they are is due to the peers, your peers, that came before you, things that they wanted, things that the government wanted. There were some people that were with it, so some people that were against it. Ultimately, the people who were for deregulation got it, and the carriers that thought it would benefit them was in for a rude awakening. So I want to talk about it today. Now, this may be not someone's, cup of tea as far as content. A lot of people just want to know the cheat code and shit like that. But the cheat code is it's doesn't give you, the systems that you need to consistently make money. This is an industry that you have to consistently make money. A big part of it is up here, not just you doing this. You know what I'm saying? A big part of it is up here. And I always talk about people and their lack of understanding, which is what leads to emotional decision making, which leads to just saying shit that's based from emotion that doesn't make any sense, like worrying about what other people are doing and brokers, and they keep taking cheap freight. And it just doesn't make any sense when you just understand why things are the way they are. So what I want to do is I want to talk about it. We're going to go back to 1980. 1980 is what gave you the opportunity to even be doing what you're doing right now. If it wasn't for what happened in 1980, 99% of you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing right now because you wouldn't be been able to afford to even enter. You wouldn't even been able to get a lane. You would have had to have long money when it was regulated. Deregulation is what gave you the opportunity to do what you're doing right now. Shout out to D Jenkins for that super chat. Let me get that out the way real quick. Appreciate that super chat. Appreciate that super chat. What's up, D Jenkins? Appreciate you, man. Be safe out there, pimp. Be safe out there, pimp. All right, so boom, let's talk about the deregulation in 1980. This is when trucking was freed. This is like the slaves being freed. This is what gave you the freedom, right? Rates were deregulated. Prior to that, rates were regulated. Not everybody could get into trucking. It was regulated. All right. Not everybody could get into it. The barriers to entry were lowered and competition exploded, right? Once they allowed anybody and everybody to come in, all that competition and the barrier to entry got lowered. Everybody was told at that particular time this was great for truckers. There's a stigma on truckers, man, and I'm not going to say it right now because I don't want to really offend anybody. I'm not in that mood really today. But there's a stigma on truckers, and I think a lot of people know what it is. And it clearly went back to then, because if you were a trucker back then and you were in as a company driver, the amount of money that they were making back then in comparison to what owner operators make today, a company driver made more back then. You add in the rate of inflation, the cost of living, a company driver made more back then. This is why it was one of those jobs, like, being a trucker prior to 1980 was like getting in with the city back then. A person could drive a truck and take care of their family, couple kids, wife that sits at home, couple cars. It was one of those careers that people would give their right leg for. And I think a lot of people thought that if they had the opportunity to do it themselves, it would be much more beneficial. An individual back then that would have looked at opening up the floodgates, free market, free enterprise, would bring in more competition, it would make it more difficult. Similar to what you guys see now. The ignorant people still, to this day, no matter how much I explain this to them, they just don't get it. Back then, people didn't get it. Back then, truckers thought this was going to be a great thing for them. But the uncomfortable question that nobody asks is, if deregulation was such a win for truckers, why over time has it gotten worse? And why over time does it seem like As time goes on, the worse it gets, and the more truckers have to survive. The more it becomes survival of the fittest. And here we are 45 years later. I was born in 1980, so I can do the math real easy. It's 45 years since the deregulation of trucking. And look how it's like a survival of the fittest. 45 years after deregulation, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Before 1980, trucking was just like a normal, high paying job. This goes back to what I talk about stability. It was a boring, stable, controlled job, but truckers made great money. They made great money. Routes were regulated by the ICC, not to be confused with the Illinois Commerce Commission, which is the state regulated agency that we have here in Illinois that regulates trucking and the rail and energy and gas and things of that nature. The ICC that I'm talking about is the Interstate Commerce Commission, which regulated trucking. This was the regulatory agency for trucking back then. It has obviously after the deregulation of trucking, it became defunct. But this is the agency that regulated trucking, the Interstate Commerce Commission, right? They regulated trucking. Routes were protected. If you were lucky enough to get a route for any commodity, you didn't have to compete. If you got it, it was yours. If I owned the route that took remotes, let's say, or plastic, let's just say plastic, from Illinois to Cleveland, I was the only one who had that route. I didn't have to compete. The price was regulated by the Interstate Commerce Commission. Entry was restricted. Not everybody could come into trucking, right? Because routes were controlled. You got a route, it was yours. So routes were limited. Entry was restricted. We see that here in Illinois. That's why we still have a commission here. Illinois Commerce Commission is regulated, right? It's more regulated in the household aspect than general freight, right? Household here, it's regulated. To become a mover here, you have to apply. The application is $900 just to apply. It doesn't mean you're gonna get it. The barrier to entry is high, so they do everything to deter you. $900 just to fill out the application. You send it in to the state. The state sends you a hearing date. You go in front of a judge. Before you go in front of a judge, when you get your hearing date, you have to post your hearing date in the state newspaper. You have to take out an ad in the state newspaper and post, yo, I, Mark, want to start a moving company. Here's my date to go in front of the Illinois Commerce Commission judge on this date. You have to have a lawyer. Why do you got to put your hearing date in the paper? And this is what regulation looks like, because this gives an opportunity for every other moving company that's lurking that state newspaper, looking for new people that want to start a moving company, to come to your hearing date and object for any reason. And say, yo, we don't need no more movers. We got enough in the market. They can come and object for any reason. That's the purpose of you having to take out that ad. It's regulated. We don't need more than we don't need too much, because we still want to make sure that the guys that have license, there's enough opportunity for them to make good money. And we need our piece too. We don't want to make it tough on these guys. We want them guys to make sure they can still make money so they can pay the commission, baby. So I understand regulation. A lot of you middle Americans are some of you guys that come from states that, aren't just not, real tough states, and where you're not regulated as tough as like my state is. You don't understand, but this is what that was comparable to then. Entry was restricted. Price wars were illegal because the ICC controlled the prices. They dictated that if I was granted, if I got a route, if I was lucky enough because my money was long and I could, bear the cost of entry. I could pay off the people I need to pay off the ICC, pay the high entry cost to the government, the commission, get the trucks. The ICC dictates my price. The price that they're dictating is enough for us to cover costs, make profit, and enough for them to get their cut too. And in those times, prices were high. There was no free market. There was no free enterprise. Free market, free enterprise drives costs down. Regulation pushes costs up because everybody got to get their piece. A lot of you middle Americans who don't come from really corrupt. I come from a corrupt place. So I know what corruption and I know what the government getting a piece really feels like. I come from one of the most crookedest corrupt states, Illinois, the most crookedest corrupt city, Chicago. And then within Chicago, the most crookedest corrupt county, Cook, which is nicknamed Crook County. Everybody wants their piece. So I'm used to it. I understand it. So I understand why the cost of living is higher. I understand where I may go into a certain place that may be a national chain in my city, and you may go into that same national chain in your city, but because you come from a place where taxes are lower, there's less corruption, there may be less people, I could walk into that same store here, and you could walk into that same store there. We could buy the same item, and I may pay 3 times as much as you. That's regulation. Price is dictated. Everybody got to get their piece. You didn't get the option to set your price. But the price was good. It was enough money. This meant the outcome was predictable. It also meant strong unions. If you have ever watched any movies prior to your existence, prior to 1980, you probably heard a name, Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa was that guy for the Teamsters. We're talking about corruption a little bit. We're talking about regulation. Jimmy Hoffa was plugged with them people. Where are them people? Them people that he was borrowing money, or the people that was borrowing money from the Teamsters Union, the pension from the Teamsters Union, where do you think those guys came from? The Chicago outfit, the Detroit outfit, the KC mob. Primarily the Chicago outfit and the boss of the Chicago outfit during that time. The Teamsters, the money from the Teamsters pretty much built Vegas. Regulation, corruption. To me, and I know I'm derailing a little bit because this is kind of like, history, Chicago mob history, trucking, the Teamsters, Vegas, it all plays a part. But when everybody got to get their piece, everybody has to get their piece. Strong unions. The unions were strong, man. The unions made sure that those truckers, those drivers, those company drivers got paid, and they got paid a livable wage. Yeah, somebody had to pay the cost. There was shit going on behind the scenes, but the truckers got a livable wage. Fewer carriers, higher wages, less competition. And if you tried to compete back then and you weren't plugged in, You didn't play ball, then, you know, you might come to your yard and all your trucks may be on fire. Your garage may get a pipe bomb to it. It was a different ball game back then. But for the most part, truckers really, really got paid. Truckers were making more money then, company drivers, than owner operators today, by far. Wasn't efficient. Wasn't efficient at all, but it was profitable. It was profitable for drivers. Wasn't efficient though. It was a different system back then. 1980, it all changed. The government removed rate controls. It removed route protection. It removed the entry barriers. It made it a lot easier for regular guys who maybe didn't have capital, maybe didn't have mob influence, or I should say mob support. It allowed these types of individuals to come into trucking. And it was just a simple idea, let the free market work. Let the free market work. And what happened was it wasn't necessarily freedom after that for the individual owner operators, more what you see now, fragmentation. It became fragmented. Who won immediately? The shippers and the retailers. The shippers and the retailers won immediately. Why? Prices going down. Savings can get passed along to the consumer. See, it's not about you. And this is what I always say. It's about the consumer. In 1980, you saw the boom of big box retail. After trucking was deregulated, big box retail boomed. I remember it. I don't remember the evolution of the boom of it, but I remember being a kid and the amount of big box retail stores that were around then in comparison to none. It's like day and night. What do you have for big box retail now? You got Walmart, you got Target. Sam's Club is a Walmart. I don't know. Costco is a division of itself. And you got Target. What else is there? Amazon is e-commerce. E-commerce didn't exist then. As far as physical big box retail, this is all you got today. I can name a plethora of big box retail stores in the 80s. You had Venture. You got Zare. Zare became Ames. You had Montgomery Ward. You had Sears. You had Service Merchandise. You had what else? We can go to even like niche specific. You had Handy Andy. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? We can go into other niche specific like electronics. You had Circuit City. You had regional stores like Goldblatt. You had Woolworth. I'm at 10 so far. Did I say Service Merchandise? I'm at 10. You had Kmart, 11. And there's more. I'm just naming the ones that are coming to me, right away. None of these stores exist anymore. But all these stores thrived in the 80s because they were able to lower cost. Regulation didn't exist anymore. So with people competing lower cost, we can expand more because customers can buy more because of the lower cost, because transportation cost is baked into what you pay at the register. And if that goes down, more people are going to buy. Manufacturers won, importers won, distributors won, consumers won. You had unlimited carrier competition. You had downward pressure on rates. More competition lowers rates. More competition lowers rates. Deregulation ultimately turned transportation, as far as trucking, into a commodity. Lowest bid wins. Loyalty out the window. Margins evaporate. Game changer. Who else won? Brokers. Brokers had limited influence before deregulation. They had limited influence. After deregulation, and thousands of new carriers flooded the market, information asymmetry exploded. Brokers became what you would call today gatekeepers. Gatekeepers. They didn't necessarily create the low rates. What brokers do and what they did then was they were able to capitalize on the oversupply. And this is what they continue to do. Capitalize on the oversupply. Biggest winners, consumers. Lower transportation costs equals lower shelf prices. It's similar to what I say when I have these debates, and I say people are stupid when they say stupid shit like, oh, well, when you rent a truck, you don't pay for the mileage. Like, it's dumb shit. Everything is baked into the cost. A real business owner, the reason why a lot of truckers fail is because they don't understand cost. Walmart, Target, all your retailers, that price you pay, every single cost is baked in. Transportation is a cost. Every single pallet on that truck, every single unit, there's an equation of how much it costs, and that's going to be baked into the cost, right? Operation cost, and then you add whatever margin you want to add on top of it. The reason why deregulation was sold as a success from the government is because of the lower prices consumers pay. It's always about the consumer. See, individuals that realize that, and I tell you all the time, and this is why it's hard to, when I ask people, what is cheap freight? What is cheap freight? Explain it to me. Nobody can ever substantiate it. It's just a term that people use out of ignorance because everybody says it. And when I trigger people and I make them upset and then they go say their little shit, they won't come to me and say it because they can't substantiate it logically. Deregulation was sold as a success because ultimately consumers save money. And here's the thing, and I'm be the bearer of bad news. I'm a consumer. You're a consumer. If you're a trucker, you're a consumer. If you're a trucker, when you're on the road and you stop at a gas station or a truck stop and you go in and you may buy you a pack of gas station draws or a soda or some groceries, you're consuming. You're a consumer. Everybody's a consumer. What you do for a living is directly associated with the cost of what people pay at the register. You're a part of the cost of what we pay at the register. That's why when you argue and you say ignorant things, it's I know you can't win. I know when people say, oh, the cheap freight and this is, I know how to get you. Like the guy who wanted the $4 a mile. He couldn't. I think we tried to reach out, Sage tried to reach out for him to come and debate me. No. He wasn't gonna come. The guy that was hollering for $4 minimum a mile. You know how detrimental that would be to the economy and inflation? Why is a consumer? Fuck trucking. Why is a consumer? I'm a consumer. Why would I want a minimum across the board? You know how much bananas cost? I buy bananas. I get 4 or 5 bananas in a bunch, about 69 cents a pound. A bunch of bananas about $1, $1.08, $1.09. Imagine if there was a minimum bid, a minimum threshold, let's say, of $4 a mile for a load of bananas. That's the minimum. Do you think a load of bananas justifies a minimum threshold of $4 a mile? Be honest. Does all freight justify a minimum of $4 a mile? Do you think there's certain things that would justify $4 a mile minimum? This guy's calling for a minimum $4 a mile across the board for every commodity. Does that make any sense? So when I hear truckers hollering out these stupid ass numbers, I'm like, you know, you're a consumer, right? So you know, if we were to get this, you would still be fucked up. You'd be more fucked up than you already are because you would be the contributing factor of why the cost of living and inflation just went there. Would you be able to survive? Probably not. That's why I say people say things ignorantly. They say it based off their feeling and their emotion and their disparity and the desperation that they're dealing with at the time because they're struggling because they're not thinking here. As a consumer, I want you to continue to compete. This is why the government deregulated trucking. Think about it. There's people in the government, for the most part, hire the smartest people. Think about inflation in 1980. Don't you think that somebody in the federal government way back then said, yo, the reason why we should deregulate trucking and open it up and let competition come in because this is the current rate of inflation. If we keep trucking regulated, we're going to have to keep increasing the transportation costs higher and higher throughout the year. In 30 to 40 years, man, a loaf of bread is going to cost this much money. Are Americans going to be able to afford a loaf of bread if we don't figure out something to lower or suppress the rate of inflation as it pertains to the transportation cost? So maybe we should just open up the floodgates and let them bid it out and let them fight it out and drive prices down because ultimately we're in the best interest of the consumer. This is America. Let capitalism reign. Let the strong survive. The weak will perish. This is capitalism. The strong people will be able to survive. And at the end of the day, that price suppression will keep costs down. And Americans will be able to afford the basic necessities. Of course, they just didn't do it because they felt like it. They looked at the the entire scope. They looked at it from both sides of the equation. And deregulating trucking was the best option. It was the best option. Absolutely, it was the best option. At the end of the day, when I talk, I don't get my feelings involved. Oh, Mark, you're supposed to be on that side. I am on your side, but I'm also a consumer. I don't want to pay X amount because I know it'll be detrimental. You're complaining about the rate of inflation and the cost of living now. Imagine if this fucking guy that was going viral on TikTok for this $4 amount, imagine if he got it this way. Now, some of you going to be like, well, fuck it, I'll deal with it when I get to it. And you're going to be one of them motherfuckers living in a van. Talking about van life. You're going to be one of them motherfuckers living in a tent because you won't be able to afford anything. You're going to get displaced. It may be unfortunate to some people. Some people, hey, they're capitalists. They can survive off smaller profit margins. And they can run profitably for shit that you can't. They can take shit that you can't profitably. It's what it is. Cheaper goods matter politically. Truckers don't. What do you hear when you hear some of these presidents talk? This going down, that going down. The price of fuel is here. These are political talking points. Yo, we want costs to stay low. We want wages to go up. These are political talking points. Nobody really cares about the trucker. Shit rolls downhill. Who's at the bottom of the hill? The losers. Now, this is where some people that, don't understand capitalism and business, they're going to feel uncomfortable. Obviously, the first people that got hit were the unionized drivers. The Teamsters were really strong. Deregulation happened. Right before that, Jimmy Hoffa came up missing. Nobody still knows where he is, but we know where he's at. We know where Jimmy Hoffa at. Wages dropped. Protections disappeared. Job stability vanished. It shifted from a good paying career to a grind. Who else? Small carriers. Those thousands that had entered and were continuously entering and continuously entered today fail. Way more fail than survive. A lot of people, I'm going to be honest with you, can't survive in this industry. The capitalism reigns supreme in trucking. Why? Because the cost is so high. The cost to maintain is so high. And this is what a lot of people fail to realize. And there's people that have hope and dreams when they watch me. Those are the people that write these long shit in my comment telling me, you're a dream crusher. I can do it with 3,700. My favorite content creators say I can do it with 3,700. Well, why do majority of the people that come in Don't. How explain to me how you can do it with 3,700, but 90 some percent, 90% can't. And you talking about a lot of these 90% people that failed had more than 3,700. What you gonna do? what you what you what how you gonna make it and they couldn't? No pricing power, not able to scale, no leverage. Reasons why the small carriers started to fail then, all the way to now. Competition doesn't create opportunity, it creates survival. It's like a survival contest. It's like, remember you watch the movies and they show like back in the day, like they used to have them like little fights and like I think they show like on the Django when the men is fighting like barbarians to the death. That's trucking. That's what uh uh deregulation created. And you see it today. It's like a fight. That's why I be telling people, I used the analogy yesterday, how you gonna go to war? Like you literally going to war. This is war. Especially you OTR guys. I really don't understand why y'all don't realize that. Y'all want to go to war with no bullets, 3,700, and then get mad when I tell you can't do it, and then write this long shit. Then come back and tell me you failed, and I told you was gonna fail 3 weeks ago. You didn't last 3 weeks. I told you 3 weeks ago to keep your 3,700. You could have went and got you a few pair of Gammas. You could have went and got Boo Bay some groceries. And you could have got you a room at the Cerberus. And you still would have had you some money left over in your pocket. But you wanted to go blow it because your favorite content creator told you could do it with 3,700. You ain't got no bullets. That's how I know you a middle American. You a type motherfucker will go to war with your ops with one clip. They got Dracos, they got 30s, they got 50s, they got hundos. And you thinking you finna go over there and go to war with your one funky ass little clip. They got switches, all type of shit. You the type of motherfucker gonna go to war. Four of them over there, they tooled up. Listen, four of them over there, they tooled up. They got all this shit, bro. They got the new shit. They got 3D printed switches for the Glocks. You got one clip. Talking about, man. And I hope they ain't out there. Nigga, you finna die. You finna go over there and die. That's how you is when you come over here talking about you finna come in with 30 seconds. That's how I'm looking at you. You finna go to war and you ain't got no ammunition. You know what wins wars? Money. You need money to get ammunition. How you gonna sustain this war out here? This is a war. You got people that's running ignorantly, don't know what their cost is, taking shit for the low though. You got people who can run and take shit that you can't take because their cost of operation is lower than you. You got people that's doing it purposely to suppress you and squeeze you out. You're in an economy where people are spending less, so volume is down and the capacity is high. You got a bunch of people still looming around, and there's less shit because people ain't buying shit. It's less ordering. It's less importing going on. You got tariffs, less importing going on. There's a lot of variables. But you believe you could do it with 3,700. You fighting all these shit. You fighting lower import volume because of tariffs, lower import volumes because manufacturers and distributors are ordering less, right? Because they're not selling what they got because people are spending less. You got desperation that you're competing against, and you trying to go to war with all these components with some funky ass $5,000. Come on, bro. Stop it. You're gonna fail. Save your little nickel, bro. Go put that into VOO or SPY or something. You'd be better off. Owner operators. Biggest loser after the deregulation. The owner operators are the most delusional. Still to this day. You were sold freedom and a dream in 1980, and you still being sold it now, except from your favorite people. You know what the deregulation gave you guys, especially you OTR guys? Unlimited competition, volatility, cost shifting, risk without control. You can't even control the risk. You at the bottom of the barrel. You at the bottom of the food chain. You were sold freedom. Yeah, you can come on in. You can take as much or as little as you want. This is capitalism. This is America. You're just a shock absorber, to be honest with you. You the shock absorber for the supply chain. You are a rate taker, not a price setter. You don't set the price. You're a rate taker. You independent on paper, right? Because you're an owner operator, 1099 owner operator. But in reality, you dependent. You feel free. One of the main reasons you feel free is because you can choose loads, you can choose lanes. You can choose when you want to work, you can choose when you don't. But you don't control rate, you don't control fuel, you don't control insurance, you don't control broker power, you don't control shipper expectations. And all those things are important. That's not freedom. That's risk. And it's fine because there's people that do it successfully, but I think a large portion of owner operators don't understand these components. They don't understand why they fail. They don't understand why the mass majority of people that come in fail versus succeed. There's a reason why a minimal amount of people that do this in that particular niche succeed. Obviously, when you know better, you do better. I hear people say the race to the bottom. The race to the bottom started in 1980. That's if you classify it as that. I just still classify it as capitalism. You know, you know, deregulation created an oversupply of trucks. Me personally, I'm okay with it. I've never, OTR ain't my cup of tea. But as a consumer, and we're all consumers, you can't denounce being a consumer. It's beneficial. Fragmentation, zero leverage. And all this leads to rate suppression. And you see it alive and well in the darkest times of the economy. Like now. You see trucking recessions from time to time that are pretty much cyclical. We saw one in 2019. This is before a lot of y'all came in. So, there's cyclical trucking recessions. There's constant turnover. There's like what we talked about yesterday, financial illiteracy disguised as hustle. Trucking is a business. Everything that I'm talking about now is related to business. This conversation that I'm having, over 90% of people that are OTR, I wouldn't be able to have this type of conversation. They'd be lost. There's a guy who steals my content. Well, he used to steal my content. Now he hasn't been putting out content much recently. But he would take my content and go to truck stops and ask drivers what their cost per mile, semi truckers. Nobody knew. So it's just not me. When people come to me, this guy was going out in the field at truck stops and walking up to guys and asking, man, what's your CPM? Some of these truckers didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. And then everybody else said they didn't know. Semi truck guys. I understand the lifelong company drivers not understanding it, right? But the owner operators that he approached, no idea. So it ain't just a box truck thing. I just think it's a trucker thing. Hence the stigmatism that has been placed on truckers for many, 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 many years. Big box retail, going back to that, it mastered and really took advantage of deregulation. That's when you seen the boom, like I said earlier. That's when you saw the massive distribution networks come into fruition and volume force rates down. And, a lot of these companies, I mean, Walmart has a robust internal uh, logistics network. They have their own trucks, but a lot of those companies never own trucks long term. They were able to buy truckers. Truckers were selling themselves like day laborers, and the truckers continue to do that. I was talking to one the other day after all of his expenses, he's making less than $500 a week. After all his expenses, he's making less than 500. I think he said like 300 and something. And you have a lot of people now that still defend deregulation. I defend it too. They defend it for the wrong reasons, though. Uh, Regulation means less entry. Obviously, things being regulated, the cost of entry becomes a lot higher. Uh, Regulation brings more structure, um, fewer opportunities. Regulation, there's a lot of structure and a lot of cost with being regulated. Like I could tell you the type of regulation you got to go through state of Illinois, and a lot of truckers here don't adhere to it because they either don't know or they try to avoid it. But when they get caught, it's ugly. It's ugly, boy. The last thing you want to do is get caught with the Illinois Commerce Commission for any reason. No cab card, no ICC number. It's ugly because it's all a money play. Regulation is a money play. One of the main reasons why people don't want it. Deregulation, everybody gets in. Obviously, most don't survive. You get the illusion that, or you get the illusion of opportunity uh, remaining intact. You get that hope of being a successful trucker, building out this fleet of trucks and scaling up. And hope is cheaper than reform. Me personally, I don't want regulation. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that for other reasons. I don't regulation means higher cost at the register, man. I don't want that. I need people to keep competing, keep driving the rates down. Keep driving the rates down. I want people to keep competing. I love capital. I love capitalism because I understand it. I know how to compete in it. One, I'm not going, me personally, I'm not gonna put myself in. If I see everybody going left, I'm gonna go right. If I see this is, if I can compete, if I gotta work a little bit harder over here, if I gotta work a little bit harder over here, and it's more money over here, but I gotta work a little bit harder, and there's less competition, I'm gonna go over there. Now, if I go over there, I can win over there too because I'm listening to a lot of people and I'm realizing they ain't got it up here. I can go over there, but I gotta do a lot of dance moves over there. I don't really want to dance. I'd rather do a lot more other type of heavy lifting with less people because they don't want to get their hands dirty over here and make way more money. A lot of people flock to the thing that is the easiest and it sounds the most appealing. But in reality, it's not because the more people you have to compete against, the tougher it is. So, all in all, everybody won from trucking being deregulated except the trucker. Everybody won. The government won. The shippers won. The brokers got their opportunity, so they're winning. Consumers win, right? Because the more prices get suppressed, it suppress prices at the register, costs at the register stay down. It was a win-win for everybody except the trucker. So it kind of goes when you hear like some of these guys that are calling for broker transparency. I think a lot of time when truckers call for things like the guy who's calling for not broker transparency, but the $4 a mile. I think when people call for things, they don't realize these things that they're calling for are going to be more harmful than them to them than good because they're not looking at the bigger picture. They're not looking at the bigger picture. If you enter into a business where your cost is this high, extremely high, and you can't control it, the price of insurance is going to continue to rise. You don't know. Fuel is unpredictable. It's volatile. It's unpredictable. Insurance is going to continue to go up. Parts are going to continue to go up with inflation. Labor is going to continue to go up with the cost of living. Labor, when you get your truck fixed, the labor cost is going to get higher. Parts are higher. That's why maintenance is higher. It's going to only continue to go up. If all your cost, you're coming into an industry, you got to understand this. You can do what you want to do. And I know you don't like this. We got 26 likes, people coming and going. I get it. This ain't one of the conversations that people want to hear. But to the people, first of all, let's get the likes up. First of all. But if I'm judging investing into something, I'm going to analyze it, right? Even if I still do it. My cost of entry is high, this is a high cost. If it's a high, uh, um, maintaining a truck is very expensive, and the price to maintain, and this is from maintenance all the way to insurance, is going to constantly go that way. And what we've seen is rates pretty much stay the same, but when you add the rate of inflation, the cost of living, and things of that nature, technically they're going down. Rates are comparable to what they were 10 years ago. And we know in 10 years, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Yet and still the rates are the same. The cost of operations a lot higher. So I know a lot of people don't think about that prior to coming in. That's a that's something I would look at if I was starting a business. So that way that if I continue to go on and make the decision to come in, knowing that is going to help me navigate better. See, a lot of people don't look at things like that. So decision is up to the individuals going forward. And that's deregulation in a nutshell. Knowledge is like having unlimited promo codes. So that's deregulation in a nutshell. It's pretty much cut and dry. Like I said, deregulation ultimately it was for everybody except the trucker. Uh, and that's what happened. I think it was a good move by the government. Um, and I'm speaking as a consumer, not speaking as a logistics person. I'm speaking as a consumer. I'm not going to look at things from a selfish perspective. I have to look at things in totality, right? In totality, it was best for the people. It was best for the people. If things would have remained the way they were, man, the cost of everything would be so high right now, higher than what it is. So it was the best thing. It was the best thing that could have been done at that time. All right. Line is open 312-772-5483. 312-772-5483. Knowledge is like having unlimited promo codes. Cool. Uh Mark, look up Trip Kaylee. Who? Look up TMP Kaylee. That's who I thought. Oh boy, was at first. Who was TMP Kaylee? Uh, Foxtrot Dan said, Mark, you're 100% right. After 2 years OTR, I wouldn't suggest it to no newcomers, especially if minimal working capital. Yeah, and you got little working capital, then yeah, I'm going to always tell a person no. If you got low working capital, if you got, working capital and this is what you want to do and you got a plan, by all means. But I like to give people the full scope of what they're getting into. Because a lot of people just make it seem simple and it's just not simple. It's not simple. You said you one of the anomalies that hasn't failed while entering in under 5K, but that's with a lot of grace and luck from the man above. I managed to survive 2 years and now I'm finally truck paid off. I'm curious to know how you survive. There's gotta be more to the story. It's gotta be a lot of delayed gratification. You gotta be living at home or something. It's more to the story. I'm curious to hear the story. Mm-mm-mm. So who's the Style Plus? What's up? What's up? Mm. Nah, they ain't lying. It's been plenty of people that have come and got upset with me because they said they had 3,700. It was a guy that called in earlier this year. 3,700, 4,000. Y'all don't get a chance to see a lot of this stuff because the people be, people be in the comment sections and shit. So I just talk about it. You dig what I'm saying? But I was getting a lot of comments earlier this year Not so much recently because people don't have money, but like around tax time earlier this year, it was a lot of people that was coming in with their baby mama tax money and thought that they was going to come in and run it up. It's probably going to be like that again this tax season coming up. You know, you got those tax entrants that come in thinking they're going to flip that tax money. It actually was a guy that called in on one of the shows that I did earlier this year, and he said the chick he was dealing with was going to get him $8,000. She was going to give him her tax check for him to start his business. So a lot of people think when they get their tax money, they're going to be able to flip their tax money. They think it's that sweet, and they lose it. I don't know, bro. You need to take a politician lane to get to Cook County. To Crook County. Wherever it's big money is corruption. 100. You said Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson is a fucking. I don't even got words for that dude. I don't even got words for that dude, man. That dude is a goofy. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him. I already knew it. I told my OG, my OG is an old boomer, older black people, you can't sway them as far as, you know, they do a lot of identity politics and shit like that. So, and he was a former school teacher. Chicago Teachers Union was behind him. Obviously, my mom is a retired Chicago public school teacher. So I just knew something was just not right with him. I just didn't. He's not a politician, so I just didn't like the fact that, dude, you're a fucking social studies teacher running for mayor. And it just was weird to me, like, bro, you ain't corrupt, bro. And he's not really corrupt. He's just not smart. Like he's and you have to be corrupt. And to a middle American, listen to me say this, you probably don't understand what I'm saying. When you come from a place like Chicago, or let's say New York, Chicago, the city was built on corruption. Since its inception, this is a corrupt place. It's built on corruption. You need corruption in order for it to sustain and maintain. You can't turn a city like Chicago that has a lifelong history of corruption and try to turn it into, it just doesn't work. Corruption, the machine, is what keeps things going. And that may sound crazy to some people, but if you ask a Chicagoan, a lifelong Chicagoan, they will 100% agree with me. You need it because everybody gets taken care of. When you got a person who deals on in emotions and has to run a city is a business. City is a business. This is a business. And you running it, if you're running it based on emotions, you're going to make illogical decisions and it's going to cost the constituents. When you don't put the people first, the people are going to turn against you. So, that dude is a retard. I don't know what to say about him. But he'll be a one term, so he'll be a one term guy. Uh Consumers get conned? How do consumers get conned? uh, let's see. I never understood the tax. Oh, you said who was stealing your content? I was talking about CDL Shorty. Asthma Roland got it. What path do I think the youngest to take? I didn't necessarily say it's getting cooked. what's cooked is people. If you understand capitalism and then you understand business, then you'll be okay. I think a lot of people think they're gonna be able to squeeze this life, this luxurious life out of trucking with one truck, and it's just not true. The reason a lot of people fail is because they don't understand a lot of the stuff that I talk about. Um, so I'm not saying it's cooked. You can actually, suffice if you know what you're doing. Now, I wouldn't necessarily look all the way at OTR. Me, if you in a city that has a decent population and you can do something more local, it may require a little bit more hands-on, heavy lifting and things of that nature. I think you'll come out a lot better. If not, and you still want to do it and you have to come over the road, then I think you need to have a really soundproof plan. I think you need to have a nice amount of money saved up. You need to come in with a very, very low entry cost, low cost of entry, a lot of money, all right, so that you can be able to suffice and withstand the learning curve, the war that you're entering into, and you're gonna have to make smart, sound decisions. So, so I never understood the tax time Christmas mentality. That's a man. I'm looking at all these people that was standing out line, bro. It was 0 degrees last night, bro. But people standing out overnight for some Jordans. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it either. They ain't even know Jordans Mike wore on his feet. If I want those Jordans, I'll just pay the up price. Like I'm not standing outside in no 0 degrees, but I get it. I don't understand it either. But I think that goes back to like the mentality that I talk about. Like it's just a poor mentality, a validation, right? Because let's take the today. Everybody posting their screenshots. Me, if I really want them, I'll just pay 300-400 for them. I'm not waiting. I'm not gonna risk getting frostbite. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna do all that. You dig what I'm saying? It ain't that serious to me. You dig what I'm saying? But that validation of going above and beyond, even if it's risking getting frostbitten so that you can screenshot your got 'em picture. To me is ignorant, Same thing with the tax. Um, I don't know, bro. I don't think like that. So I can't even put myself in the mind frame of why people do the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Tax time is a time where you get infused with capital. And what do we see? We see temporary tax, right? We see new furniture. We see shopping sprees, and we see trips. That's when you start to see people take trips. That's when you see the most temporary tax, right? And people go get new furniture and they rent through it again. It's gone. No investments. Just leave it. No leaving it for a rainy day. So I don't get it either. Same with Christmas. You know it's coming. You knew Christmas was coming 12 months ago. So you've had 12 months to do what you needed to do to prepare for this. But people still put themselves in a bad situation. So I don't know. I don't know, bro. I can't answer it, bro. Beats me. Brandon Johnson is complicit in all the BS activity that's going on. He's under the thumb of Pritzker. Well, Pritzker is probably going to run for president in another If he doesn't announce it for 28, he's definitely going to run for in 32. He's probably going to win. So, he's probably going to win. He has the money. He comes from a billionaire family, and think they're definitely been grooming him, and probably you know Johnson, probably has been promised something that when I run for president, and I win, I'm gonna make you Secretary of Education or some shit like that. So it's clear he's not gonna get a second term at mayor. So yeah, he's probably just doing what this guy tells him to do so that if and when he does run for president and wins, he probably win. He'll have a nice, cozy, you know, position in the White House. So I thought the same thing. It makes sense. So makes sense. Profits are a race to the bottom to win bids, contracts, and expenses are a race to the top. Profits are a race to the bottom to win bids, contracts, and expenses are a race to the top. You want to explain it to me? Expenses are a race to the top? What are you saying? Did you see transatlantic shut down because they were trafficking dope via interstate commerce, disguised as a trucking company? No, I didn't send that. Send that to me. Uh, said, Coach, you how to make 1.2 per truck. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how that lady made that 1.2. This is when Affirm and Klarna thrives. Yes, so Affirm and Klarna are definitely thriving right now. I think because these are just still fairly new and they've opened up their barriers to onboarding. Because back when these things first started, it was pay by 4, but now shoot, you can use these like a credit card in some aspects. You know what I'm saying? So I believe over the course of time, these new forms of credit, right, are going to get burnt out too. I think a lot of people are gonna burn out. They Affirm and they Klarna and they Afterpay this Christmas. And people are wondering, well, people are still spending money. This is how they're spending money. They're not spending cash. They don't have it. They're not spending it on credit cards. Credit cards are burnt out. It's all coming from Klarna and Afterpay and Affirm. So now I believe that's going to get burnt out probably this holiday season. So we're gonna see what happens next year. Um, Shit, that's the only way to survive. Uh, Absolutely must have a low cost of entrance and some capital. You don't want to be me, especially the first year or so. What happened? Were you living in your truck? Were you living in your truck at one point? I want to go back to this question for this guy, this young guy. To be honest with you, if I was 20 something right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd probably get some type of certification. And I know people, you know, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, and tell you box truck shit because I do box truck content. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't. If I was 20 something right now, I wouldn't. And let's not say if I was 20 something. Let's say if I had a kid or a brother that was 20 something, say a younger brother, and he came to me for advice. He said, "Big bro, you got all the box truck sauce. I know I could, go around the learning curve. You know what I'm saying? Help me start this box truck business." I would tell him no. I would send them to school and get some type of certification in something related to STEM first. I would send them to school. If I had to cover the cost of it, then that's what I would do. I think that would be more beneficial in the long term than a box truck business. I'm telling you that as a creator in the space. I would absolutely send them to get some certification, something STEM related. I wouldn't advise, I would deter them from it. So, and there's a reason why I say STEM related, you know. So, yeah, that's what I would do. I would send them to get some STEM related certification. Mm-hmm. And then after that, if he wanted to try it then, okay, but I would have the certification to fall back on for him. That if that didn't work, they would have something and they would be ahead of the rush, because I think that those certifications are going to come in handy in the next couple of years. So, mhm. So that's what I would. That's what I would do. That's what I would recommend for him. Wouldn't, you know? There's easier ways to make money. Way easier. So most of the people that you see out here, they not happy. I mean, you see it. You see it through the content. They're not happy. I know why. But even operating above board, you know, it's just easy. I know easier ways to make money. So the number the number is on the screen. Oh, I thought I had it on the screen. My bad. 312-772-5483. 312-772-5483. My bad. I thought I had it on the screen the whole time. My bad. I was wondering why ain't nobody call in. My bad. 312-772-5483. I guess I gotta stay a little bit minute to give you a chance. I thought it was on the screen the whole time. My bad. Somebody said get forklift certified. I wouldn't necessarily say forklift certified. I would get some type of certification in something STEM related. You know, there's a lot of opportunities out there for STEM related jobs, and there's going to be more coming up. And there's a lot of freelance work for that, you know, as well. Um, yep. So I would get those certifications before the rush comes in, to get it before it becomes oversaturated. Because I'm telling you, certain jobs or just jobs in general are going to become a luxury. And about another, I would, I'm not even going to say 7 to 10. About another 5 years, a job is going to be a luxury. People that are frowning up on jobs today, they're going to wish they had one in about 5 years. I promise you that. I promise you that. Having a job is going to be a luxury because they're going to be scarce, and you know, opportunity. Like everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Just can't. They can't because not everybody has the mindset. They don't have the capital. It's just not the opportunity. You know, like how many entrepreneurs? Like the reason why a lot of people fail is because outside of the fact that they don't know what the hell they're doing, the ecosystem of whatever industry that you're getting into as far as starting a business is going to weed out all the weak entrepreneurs. The strongest are going to survive, the weak is going to perish. The competition is going to push you out. You having a lack of understanding is going to wean you out. You having a lack of working capital is going to wean you out. How many online boutiques do we need? How many beauty supplies do we need? How many of this do we need? How many of that do we need? People are going to have to go back. They're going to realize, yo, I fucked up. And there's just not going to be that much opportunity. And the people that have jobs are going to look like those are going to be the real winners. It's going to be a luxury to have a job. It's starting to get to that point now. If you really pay attention, it's really starting to get to that point now. That's why I hate when people try to coerce people away from work. And the people that do it, listen to the lady that called up last week. She's probably watching. You talk about a job like it's the worst thing in the world, but then you don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur. And these are the people that are promoting people go out and be their own boss, but they can't successfully tell a person or guide a person or hold a person's hand on how to be successful. So you're leading people astray. It's like the blind leading the blind. Most people out here in the world need structure. A lot of people need to be delegated what to do. Not everybody has the mental fortitude to be able to build and sustain a business. They don't have the discipline. They don't sacrifice. So, no. I think the job economy is a great thing, and I don't think people should take it for granted. I don't think people should take it for granted. I guarantee you, mark my words. Remember, I said this, in another 5 years, a job, 5 to 10 years, a job gonna be a luxury. It's gonna be a luxury because everybody gonna want one, but everybody ain't gonna be able to get one. And the people that have jobs, they're gonna be comparable to fucking NBA players, damn near. Watch. And I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I don't frown upon the job market. That's why you don't hear me like frown upon people that have jobs. You hear me listen to people that have come up here. It's been people that have come up here, called in, that's been on their job 20 years, and I try to talk them. I try to talk them to stand with their job. Like, why would you be at your job you got 10 more years? You done did 2/3. You might as well wrap it up. Go ahead and knock out the last 10 and call it a day. You got people that are ready to throw everything away. We've had people that left their jobs and came into this business and failed. So not everybody is gonna make it, bro. So who am I waiting for to call in? 2 people, right? Terrell said it's a luxury now. Yeah, in some aspects. Yeah. Who am I waiting to call? Somebody said like what? Like what? Like what? What do you mean like what? You gotta be more specific because I talked about a lot of stuff, so I don't know what you're referring to. Uh I think they fail because they do it just for money with no plan. I think everybody does everything for money. Oh, well, you said for money with no plan and no skill. Yeah. You got to have a plan, bro. You got to have a plan, bro, for sure. Most people that get in now, they do it for out of desperation. They do it, they think it's going to be their ticket out of poverty. Everybody looking for something that they can say, okay, I got my own business. They can control their own destiny and at the same time make a lot of money. And trucking just happened to be one of those things because the barrier to entry is low, but they don't realize how tough it is, especially that OTR. OTR is tough. It's tough from not as far as physically, like moving in final mile, but it's tough from the business perspective of the competition. You're competing against a lot more people. The margins are a lot smaller. The operation costs are a lot higher. And a lot of people, as we've seen, one, they don't know their costs. They don't know their cost per mile. They don't know their operational costs. They refuse to do the math. The shit that very detrimental for them to, understand if they're going to sink or swim, they don't do it. They don't do no fucking math. They don't do it. Beats me. I don't know. It's the weirdest shit, but whatever, so. You said fast food is already a luxury? Yeah, I mean, I've seen a shift in fast food just from a local level. I've seen a specific demographic just take over the fast food industry, even in neighborhoods that aren't their own. They travel to other communities to work in fast food. That says a lot. There's going to be people in specific communities in another 5 years that are going to, they could work, but they gave up those jobs. They let some influencer tell them be their own boss. Yo,
Hey, Big Mark, what's going on? Box Sugar Dan here.
what's up, man?
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it's hard to hear me with this little earpiece. First off, I gotta give you your flowers because everything you've been saying since I found your channel, shoot, I don't know, it's been half a year, maybe a year, it's spot on. Even though sometimes, it hits right there, it's simply due to the, ignorance. Because there's a lot of ignorance just based on shit that maybe I didn't know or I might know. But like what you're saying, people don't realize it's insane. Like I got in with under 5K, and what I meant by that, as far as the anomaly part, is it's not possible unless you have like at least 75% of the crazy factors going for you. Like, for example, right when I wrote one of the comments you read out, you're like, there's more to your story. And then what you said next, once again, spot on. It's like living at home. That's a big major because that's, that cost in your cost of operations just gets cut down to like way less just from that alone.
Mm-hmm.
So how I got in, first of all, is I had my uncle who was doing this for years prior, and I got in the first time probably around COVID time, actually. I had it for about a year, bought my own used truck for 8K, so it wasn't, a big margin. I didn't owe anybody no money. Did that for about a year, and then when I found out I'm having a little kid, I sold it and was done. I went to that full-time gigging thing, so I have a lot of knowledge on that aspect as well. But as time went by, one of the guys I had gotten loads from the first time around, he found out that I was interested in possibly getting back into it, and he knew my uncle, the friends, and that my uncle had a box truck that he just got done, fixed up. He bought it off the auction, and they had a lift gate, had a little sleeper in there, and everything. And he was getting ready to sell it. And he knew I didn't really have much capital on me, but he was like, yo, I can talk to your uncle. I can throw down a few thousand towards you, but you're going to come and only get loads from our company. And then your uncle will he'll give it to you on payment. So that's already like a bunch of factors that the average person is not just going to have. You don't have even those, good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just from the get. And then another factor, just to that exact story, is like, all right, then I get signed up like that. The truck is still in my uncle's name. Insurance I get through the company now that I'm getting loads from, so it's a little cheaper. I was paying $750 for a month in the beginning, and then they gave me a fuel card to start out with, which they weren't taking no percent off of, but it was just straight from every check.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some more factors. Then the upbringing part, where I wrote in the comments, like we grew up out here in the Sacramento area where we have this big dismantling, one of the biggest dismantling streets in the country. You know, used parts, whatever you need is right there. We grew up buying the car from the auction, fixing it up, salvage title, drive it for half a year, sell it, make some profit, and keep doing that. So I knew, even though I wasn't the mechanically guy really,
Mm-hmm.
that if something went wrong, I knew a bunch of people I could call and start asking, picking their brain on, hey, what do you think this is, before, you know, calling the tow, before taking it to the shop or whatever. And if there was something
Mm-hmm.
that didn't seem crazy, I can always look it up on YouTube. I always had a toolkit with me, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just saying a lot. Like these little tiny factors that seem tiny, they're not really tiny because the average person doesn't have that. Like if you coming in to this industry and you've been watching some content and you got like 5K, but you didn't, you know, you grew up middle America, like you say, you didn't have this work on your own car mentality, or like, even if it's not you, just around you, you're always going to the dealership to get your oil changed, your brakes done.
Mm-hmm.
And things happen on the road all the time. My ball joint snaps on me on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, the timing just worked out. That's what I meant by grace. It went out when I took an exit to go get some lunch. I was going through Flagstaff, and that was supposed to happen at 75, 80 miles an hour on the road. That would have been a lot worse. So it happens. I've got a load with me. But first thing I do, I get on Facebook Marketplace. I go to Google. I start searching all these little things like
Mm-hmm.
mobile mechanics, etc. Trying to, I understand that if worse come to shove, of course, I'll have to call the whatever towing's available and take it to whatever shop that can take me. But I know that most shops, they might not have the spot right away. They might tell you a couple days,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and the third. Here, I see, okay, it looks like I've seen this type of thing. We're used to fixing up cars. This doesn't look horrible. Let me take a snap and send it to the people around me, see what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Do that, get a call back. Get a few people like, yeah, that's your ball joint. Find the mobile mechanic guy. He shows up, does it on the road, charges me $400. Gone. You're back on the road. Things of this thing, oil pressure sensor goes out. I've never done that, but I simple YouTube search, do it yourself. But if you don't have any of that, either work it on yourself, kind of. And I'm one of the least people to work on cars because I've always had the people around me that would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Pops would always work on my car, etc. But just having these basic points of knowledge of like, oh, I can get a used part for half the price, and I'm comfortable enough because of the upbringing, knowing that we've done it forever, so I'm not worried about, oh, it's going to be, default, like something's wrong with it or whatever. Sure, you run that risk, but you're also running on the road where you know that you already don't have a lot of capital. You're trying to save money and time, and all these little tiny factors that if you're just watching somebody and you're getting in on it, I'm gonna tell you right away, it ain't gonna happen. If I wasn't living at home, even though I got a wife and daughter, it wasn't they couldn't afford to move out. When we found out the kid thing, it was either you move in to the poor area, the ghetto, or she's an only daughter and they have a house. They're like, you can move in here. We have the means. We just got married, but we're like, all right, we'll take this option. And I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
But that, hence what I'm saying, a million different factors that if you don't have all these little things, just listen to Big Mark and don't do it. You're going to be on the road somewhere and you're going to have one breakdown. And if you don't have any prior knowledge, you calling whatever roadside service, they're going to take you to their shop. They're going to charge you $1,000 for the tow. You're going to have something that mom and pop's shop or a mobile mechanic would have charged you a few $100, but the shop's going to charge you $3,000, $2,500. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Like today, actually, like literally this morning, I was driving back from Los Angeles. My transmission went out on me as I drove into Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, that's where I live. And I started calling around, found a tow. But before I found the tow, I called around to the people that I knew around me, like, yo, I don't know. I noticed my transmission, so worst case, I might need a rebuild. Who do you know? Boom, boom, boom. Gave me a few numbers. Called the person. The guy's like, bring it to my shop. I'll be there on Monday. I'll take a look.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have all these things, which I'm not saying that to like, hey, look at me. No, trust me. I got a lot of things that for another episode, I got a lot of questions and things that I can use from you that I like tax stuff. And it's the first year I've had an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to do taxes yet, whatever. But
mm-hmm.
just, you know, I got excited a little. I got on the call. My bad. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let you cook a little bit.
No, go ahead. I'm just listening. I'm chilling.
You know, yeah, I just see all the people in the comments a lot of times, and yeah, I've seen those videos too. It's insane. I'm like, my first thought when I first saw, I was like, man, yeah, you can, but then I'm like, no, you can't. Like, that's not, it's not realistic. Like, your situation is like it's not something the average person is going to have, and even then, you're doing this, and it's not really something you should be doing because the risk is crazy, you know.
Well,
and the fact that I managed to last 2 years and finally starting to do some things really different, trying to get away from the OTR, finding my lane, and use it and sticking to local and incorporating some of the gig apps to supplement.
mm-hmm.
Definitely not full time. I'm glad I found your channel too, because man, there's nothing I can really argue other than some of the gig app shit, whatever. But once again,
I mean,
it's that mentality and mindset of where I came from. You can't do it.
What you want to argue about the gig app?
The gig app.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's a little bit of that crazy stuff, you know. Crazy says the shit crazy says. No. So it is what it is. But like, I was able to do it. So for me, once again, it's a market you're in, understanding. Like I was doing it full time because I wanted to be closer when I found out I was having a kid, and this was good 4 years ago. Okay. And I wasn't making crazy money. Don't get me wrong, but I knew that I could. I had the work ethic. You can work. I'd get up 6 a.m. and I'd work a 12-hour shift. I would work a 15-hour shift. I had the prior knowledge from my other delivery jobs to know my market. I know that an hour away from Sacramento is the Bay Area. Cost of living is way more, so you're making way more. I'll take that drive. I'll go work out there for a few days. That's what it means. So I was able to gross, which obviously I agree with you. That's everybody just throws it out. I could bring in that $6K in a month, and my cost, you know. Like I had a little Chevy Volt. I was paying $30 a day on fuel, and you don't need commercial insurance. Oh. And then comes that part where I was like, look, I know that I'm about to put on 100,000 miles on this vehicle in a year, and I'm putting on 10,000 miles in a month. So I'm getting ready. I'm preparing that in the next year or so, as long as I'm keeping up my maintenance. Before that 100K shows up, I'm putting this thing up on sale and selling it while it's running, while there's no major issues, and getting something with less miles. Mm-hmm. If you got a car from the dealership you're leasing, I would never do that. I would never recommend it for nobody. It's unrealistic and just ignorant. But if you have that, where you bought the used car, you don't have a car note, you understand your market you're in, you can do it. Would I say that for a long term? Definitely not. But while you're paying attention, you see that the market's working, and you understand that if it gets worse, you better pivot. Cool. But if you're thinking it's your end all, you're going to do this forever, no. I agree with you. It's not going to happen.
It sounds like you killing the car to the point where you putting so many miles on it. Once you factor in, see, you weren't factoring in depreciation and all these additional costs.
Oh, well, yeah, 100%. But that's the thing. I already bought the used car, so I know that I'm not going to get what I paid for it back. But I already bought it at a cheaper price. If I paid $7,000 for it, I'm not going to get $7,000 for it back. I'm gonna get 4, 3.5, whatever. But I'm not. I don't have a car note. That was within my means. I understand that. I'm not trying to rely on this full-time gig to be like, this is my only vehicle and that's it. No, I'm like, I'm going to have it for that half a year, that year, and I'm going to switch to something with a little less miles and keep doing that. That's one of the only models that is sustainable for that time period, because the market can change and it could be bullshit. I agree on that. But if you're not doing that and you got that car note, yeah, I would say you can't do it, or you shouldn't do it. That's the only reason I said I can only contest it to a degree. If you're doing it that way, that's one of the only ways. Because I know in the previous shows you're like, I need somebody to call it and explain how. This is a kind of how, and once again, that's not gonna, like, the average person is not gonna. It doesn't have that. The average person in America, especially the younger generation, they're afraid to even hear the word salvage title, for example. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my point on it. As far as all the other aspects to do with what you're talking about, the whole gig economy, I agree with you. If you don't have a mentality of like, I'm going to use this car for a little bit of time and then change it to something with less miles, and I don't have a car note, I'm not worried about that like that, it's possible. Okay. That's the only way I see possible.
All right. Well.
That's about it. That's honestly about it. Otherwise, like, keep cooking. I appreciate you, your content. It helps me when I'm driving around, cross country, because I'm like, man, this is entertaining and educational at the same time.
Appreciate it. What type of truck is that? That's like a 20-footer or a 16-footer you got?
So all this time I was thinking it's a 16. Then when I did took a tape measure, my cargo space from the very back wall to the end, it's 14 foot. So I don't know, how do you, is it determined from the outside, like the whole length of the truck itself, or just the cargo box? What would you say? Because I would say at most it'd be a 15-footer. It's the under 10,000 gross vehicle weight.
It's probably like a 15-footer. So you're doing
it's a little 15-footer.
OTR in a 15-footer?
Yeah, I can fit up to six standardized pallets, and I got a built-in sleeper. So that, I don't gotta sit there at
That's why I said there's more. That's why I said there's more to your story. Because now I'm looking and I'm like, you only you're not paying insurance, and you don't have the cost associated with a 26-footer. That's why when you said I did it for less than 5,000, the first thing I said, there's more to the story. It's not.
Oh, and you were right. That's why I said, like, so these factors, if you don't have all this
home, and it's a 15-footer.
Yep. Yes, sir. That's one of the only ways to make it work. Like it's still, commercial, but once again, I found the deal, which is insane for California. I'm paying under $700 a month. But I think that's a steal for commercial insurance. I could be wrong. I could be definitely wrong.
And you're not paying. You're paying for what you got really is a van.
Basically, yeah. Basically, it's a cargo van, basically, with a box.
No, it's not a cargo van. It's what's considered a van cutaway.
Cutaway, yeah, exactly.
The van
cutaway. Yes, sir.
So
cutaway, got the lift gate on there, so that definitely helps because that gives you more options.
So what are you running for? Like, what are you doing in a 15-footer OTR, bro? What's your?
See, that's one thing, and that's where that ignorance thing comes in, because that's like the people around me. Why I even got into, that's all they knew. That's their lane. So that's, so I didn't know any better until I started like trying to do some of my own research, found your channel, etc. You know, that's all I knew is that OTR. That like some of these guys who would never want to do this local stuff, and but for me, local is within the state, which is probably not even local to other people. Like to me, if it's under 500 miles, I count that as local because I'm so used to going cross country.
What are you doing though, bro? Is it worth your while, bro? Like, what are you doing? What's your cost?
Oh yeah.
What are you actually doing in a 15, 14 foot, whatever, 14-foot truck, 15-foot truck?
What do you mean as far as what I'm doing? Like it's always, it's back shop for the most part,
I'm saying you're pulling off the load board?
No. Yeah, there's a missing piece. No, I don't have. So I'm least. I guess the word is what least on. I signed up with 3 companies. They got the dispatching companies. Mm-hmm. So since my truck, I just they'll text me in the morning, or I'll text them like I'm available, and I'm available for any in all directions. Or if I want to just say available for locals only, then I'll say that.
So you're leased on.
So when I book a load with whatever company, I'm running under their authority.
Right.
So that makes it easier. Like this little 15-footer is actually one of the ways for like your followers that following where it's an easier cost to get into, because most people are thinking about the 26-footer, and that's definitely more. It's definitely pricier.
That's like an early 2000s, like a 02.
It's a 2012 Chevy Expressman 3500 60.
I can't really see it because the thumbnail is kind of small. It's a 2012, you said?
Yeah, 2012 Expressman 3500. So they got the nice 6.0 motors. If you take care of them, they'll last. I don't gun it. Nothing.
Yeah, 4.8.
6.0.
6.0.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, before I was just simply all over the country, and I had no idea that there's even like gig app supplement. Like there's people that sit at truck stops because it is so many of truckers OTR. You see them everywhere at truck stops, and they're just sitting there sometimes for days. And I'm just like, man, when I found out that I can eat supplement just even if I'm on the road, shoot, turn on some gig apps. You're on the road, make a few $100 while you're waiting here and there. Like, why not? You still got to eat twice a day. You're on the road. You don't got a fridge like semi truck drivers have, etc.
Where do you sleep?
You got to. No, I got a little sleep. I got a little sleeper right. So you climb in right behind the seat, and that whole top area of the box.
The attic.
Yeah. The attic is a sleeper. When I bought the truck from my uncle, he put carpet all around it. There's lights in there. There's a USB little port and everything. So it's set up. It's set up for the OTR life. I've just been trying to veer away from that lately, and I've realized that once again you're correct that the cost is like I'm driving less miles and less hours, and I'm able to just looking at the gross and the expenses like that go towards fuel. I can pull the same numbers and be home almost every day. But that's once again also it helps being in the market and paying attention, seeing what's kind of frequent. With some of these companies might have contracts with maybe Tesla or whatever, so they have these particular loads that shoot out quite frequently, and you see that. You pay attention to that. You're like, okay, it's somewhat sustainable in my area. I don't have to go out as far, as long as I'm not giving an exorbitant number when they call me like, yo, there's a load. What are you going to do it for? So once again, you're correct. When you're talking about what is cheap rate,
right.
Somebody that might be in Sacramento that lives in New York and he's on the road, if that load is presented to them, they're not going to go for the price that I'm going to go. I'm going to go for cheaper because I know if I'm picking up because I paid attention that this load comes out at 9 a.m. or the pickup's at 9 a.m., and I know that it's going to take. I'm going to drop it off by 11:30 in the Bay Area, which is already a better market than Sacramento. I got another 5 good hours for them to find me another local run. So I'm good with taking less than the guy that's from Michigan or Jersey. I'm good with taking it for less, even though gas is more expensive here. But I'm thinking like that.
What's your cost per mile? I'm just curious.
Once again, there's an ignorant part. I'm so down to. I'm a perfect example for your show. I made it work with a lot of ignorance, and I do my numbers so crazily that it'd probably take me 20 minutes to have my actual cost per mile, and I don't have it. I will not shy away from that. But I write down every little thing. That's why it should be easy. When I fuel up, what my mileage is, how much I paid for fuel, how much the gas per gallon was. So, like, it's. I came on here to share some, and also be like, yo, like, you don't want to be me. I made it work, but I made it. I survived. I didn't make it nowhere. I mean, I got the truck paid off. I got my wife's car note. She got $2,000 left on her 2020 Acura. But other than that, I got I'm grateful for what I have, but there's a lot of work to be done.
But so you don't know what your cost is?
No, like I could have, like that's what I said. I could have it down in probably 20 minutes.
I mean, you ain't gotta get. I mean, if you ain't know what it is in all this time, hey, you know what I'm saying? So.
And here's what I'm saying is crazy that I could probably have in 20 minutes, because after every week that I'm working, whatever, if it's gigs, incorporating, I do my numbers as far as I have what I grossed, what went to fuel, what went to insurance, what went to maintenance, what went to, like, so it's really kind of stupid that I don't have an actual number, like, because I basically have done the math for every little thing that goes into that cost per mile. So to not have it just speaks on the ignorance of drivers, and I'm one of them. I'm not going to shy away from it. You know, that's just what's out there. It's probably a laziness to some degree. I wouldn't say laziness. I mean, maybe it is. I do have. It's the work ethic that's kept me in for so long, of course.
But I just talked about today. The work ethic ain't what's going to keep you.
It ain't shit. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying.
No.
But hold on. So this is what I'm saying. Like when they sending you, presenting these opportunities to you, how do you know if it's worth it or not?
Oh, well, because I'm looking at the miles, right? I'm like, all right, because I'm looking at what it's going to cost me. Like, as far not like my living, because I'm not incorporating all that, which I should be, like I'm saying. But I'm looking at it. All right, how many miles? So what's my fuel cost, and how long will it probably take me? Drive time to complete this and then get back home, or what if I'm not coming home? Just how long is this on average going to take me based off of the miles? How much is fuel in this area? How much is fuel where I'm going? So I'm doing it like that. So I'm in a way calculating my costs, but not to the full extent. So I'm not like completely ignorant to the whole idea of it, but I just don't have,
So you don't really know what you're making or if you're making anything.
No, definitely. See, it got me stumped, right?
Nah, I ain't got you. Listen, this your business, big dog.
No, 100%.
This is what if you want to run out here and just be.
But no,
you ain't doing no.
That's what I'm saying. I do them.
You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing no different than the majority.
Oh yeah.
I really know if this is how you want to get down. It's how you want to get down.
I can't argue that, because that's why I mentioned earlier. There's a lot of, like, I definitely operate with a lot of ignorance that I know. At least I'm like, I definitely acknowledge that I got to get that stuff worked out.
Why you just don't fix it then, big dog? Why you just don't get it together, bro? Like what
shit? A part of me has the dog in me, and a part of me has some of that weak mentality from bullshit that. Just, your environment doesn't matter. We're not going to throw it out there. It just is what it is. Some of it, you get home, you're like, crunch your numbers, and you got a screaming kid and a wife that whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But it's all excuses at the end of the day. That's what it is.
So
I'm not going to shy away from that.
I don't understand, bro.
I know.
I
It's exhausting. I say to myself.
like so when they call you and they say we got this load for you, man, they pay this much. Like
Right.
you just okay. What's the average load did you take? Like,
Well, you
like
see, this,
example, your truck broke down this morning, right?
right.
And the load that you took while it was breaking down, what was they paying you for that?
I was empty. I got lucky. I was empty.
Okay, well, the load that you just dropped off before you was empty.
Okay, so I drove down about for $1.75. I went up to LA.
From Sacramento?
Yeah.
For $1.70.
And that's on the 50 footer. Yeah. No, per mile. No. Yeah, right. Shit. Whew.
What's the difference? What's the travel from Sacramento to LA?
To this particular spot, it was about 390 miles.
And what'd you have to take up there? What, a couple pallets?
Yeah, it was like it was 5 pallets of like some clothing warehouse.
And they gave you $1.75 a mile?
Yeah.
And then you deadheaded back.
I deadheaded back on my own though. Which honestly, I'm glad I did for that factor. So normally, most people would be happy to just stay there because now you're in a good market, LA, for Monday. But I personally, I understood, like, I'm going to drive back. I was good where I was at for the week. And I'm like, I'm going to take this one and I'll probably head back. I was thinking I might even get something coming back, but there was a delay at the shipper. By the time we got to LA, and I got finished at like 4 o'clock, you're good. They're not doing nothing else because you're stuck in crazy traffic. So I could have stayed there for the weekend, but I'm fine. I'm going to come home. I had plans to actually do some maintenance on the truck myself at home, and then this happened, so it is what it is. It's probably for the better because now I basically got myself a expensive Christmas present where if worse come to shove, I'm going to have a rebuilt transmission.
So basically you went up there for like 87 cents a mile then?
If you talk about after expenses, probably.
No, that's what I'm. If you said you went there, hold on.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
If you went up there for $1.75, right?
Right.
A mile. That was the rate, right?
Yes, sir.
But you deadheaded back.
Oh yeah. This one, the profit was real. You know, if you look at it from that, I can't argue to what you're about to say. You're accurate. It's not. Yeah, it's not something I would have done if I didn't have the thought that I'm gonna drive back after this load. I had that plan in my mind. Like if there was something that they got me by the time I dropped off, like they already booked something, like they called me and we booked something, cool. And if not, I was okay with it. Like no. Otherwise, I would have.
What I'm saying is when they called you and they said, "Yo, we got these 5 pallets going to LA," you said that's like 360 miles or whatever. We're gonna give you $1.75 a mile. You just said run it, pretty much.
Yeah, and why I said that is because I already knew like this. Like I've went up to LA many times, so I already knew what they normally can give me for something like this in our 15-foot box truck, little size. I know the 26-footers, they on average make more per mile. They can take more. I understand that. To me, I already knew like normally because Sacramento's worse than LA, so you're going cheaper to LA because there's way more opportunities from LA. So I'm like, I was fine with that $700 to go up there, but for that 6-hour one-way drive. So when you do the math, it's probably you come down whatever, maybe $25 an hour there and back, if that.
You can't look.
And I knew that.
You can't look at it by the hour though, bro.
No, 100%. I'm saying that from my perspective of just how I've managed to do my shit. Like when I do my numbers or whatever, I'll take into account even how long it took me the whole trip, like whatever. And the numbers realistically are lower than what I even put out because I'm obviously missing some factors that I'm not factoring in. I understand that. Like, even though I run with some ignorance, I understand that you're running with ignorance. Your numbers are actually slightly lower than that.
Yeah, I would
I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, that's why I'm saying like there's a lot of work to do. So like I haven't been looking at the comments. I'm sure there's people that are poking fun, and that's all cool. Like I definitely deserve it. I just wanted to you asked like I want to hear more to the story of how I got in for under five. I gave you the story and how I'm still in it. There's a lot of things that people around me that have helped me be able to still be here after all this time. That it just it's not.
So you have external help outside. So I'm gonna be honest with you.
When it comes to maintenance and all this other stuff, like
you got family members that's helping you out with maintenance and things of that nature.
As far as knowing who to go to have it done cheaper, as far as that's what I meant. Like people.
So, cause I just I
like so like if when I'd have something done, break down on the road. There's moments where I've had called people because I knew their expertise and they can walk me through a situation and more calm and they'll tell me, hey, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to take off. It ain't as hard as you're thinking, etc. Like I had that to my advantage for sure.
I just don't. I mean, so you like. You don't really know what you don't know if you're making you don't know if you're operating at a loss right now.
No, I know that it's not at a loss, but it's definitely like.
Do you know how much?
I mean, you can challenge me.
Do you know how much?
You can challenge me on that, of course.
Do you know how much you made on this trip today? Do you know how much you accepted this trip for today?
Based off of what you're looking for, I can't give you that. So no.
87.5 cents a mile.
All right.
So you took that load for 87 cents a mile.
Right. I see what you're saying. And that's why so once again, although like I'm not disagreeing with you. My cost of operation, even though I don't have that number, is way less.
It's nothing to agree
based off of the factors around me,
No, I'm just doing the math.
Okay, I got you.
It's not me. It's the numbers based off. You said you went there and back. You gave me the rate,
100%,
and the math says you did it for 87.5 cents a mile. It's not me.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not me. I didn't say it. The math said it. The math is not going to lie.
Oh no, you're right. I'm not. I wasn't arguing with you. Because I drove back home. That deadhead, you got to incorporate it 100%. I was simply talking about what I got it going there. But when you're looking at it from going there and back, which you have to, you're right. There's no
looking at what the load paid. The load paid 87.5 cents a mile.
Are you talking just going there or there and back based off of how I ran it?
Actually, you lost on this load because the transmission went out. So the load paid.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The load paid 87.5 cents a mile. So that's what it paid.
Well, yeah, there's times you're gonna have to operate at a loss because these unforeseen things happen. So that's why you gotta be able, you gotta be putting aside for things like this.
So, but see, that's
why I'm not sweating so much.
We can't really determine what you made or if you made anything or if you lost because we don't know what your operational cost is. See, if you knew what your operational cost is, you probably wouldn't have took that load. You probably wouldn't have went up there. You looking at things from the $700, man. Look, I'm finna go get this 700, and that shit finna quick pay into my account, and I'm gonna have 700.
Not necessarily. Because not for me.
Because I'm like before we got into this, I was just curious. Like I didn't even expect to get to this in the conversation. I was just curious what operating.
I need this.
Well,
So this is a part of like I need this. Don't get me wrong.
No, but I wasn't expecting to like the stuff that you told me. I wasn't expecting it. I thought we got to this because I just asked you what was your operate. I was just curious to know what you're operating at from a cost perspective in a 15-foot truck that's doing OTR. I just wanted to hear what a CPM for something like that because I've never heard it. This is and
you got exactly what you needed. You got that content.
No,
which is exactly because there's people like that.
No,
there's people
because I swear this live stream. After I leave, I'm probably gonna leave it up for a few hours. Today's live stream is actually going. This is gonna be my members only content for the week because I gotta do members only content. So this is going into members only. I'm gonna leave it up for a few hours, but before 9 o'clock tonight.
Hey, I don't mind it. I don't mind it because
I might clip it up. I might clip this up, but it ain't gonna be for a while.
Go for it.
But
go for it.
But I was curious to know, and I expected you to answer. Oh man, I'm operating at XYZ. I was just curious to know what a 15-footer that's doing OTR freight was operating at. But then when you didn't know,
I understand that,
and that's how we got to this.
No. See that. Hey, that's why at the very beginning I said there's things I definitely know, and there's a lot of things I'm ignorant about, and I this is one of them, 100%.
How heavy was that load this morning?
2,700 pounds.
2,700 pounds. Do you stop at weigh stations?
No.
Do you put their tags on the side of the truck? Their magnets?
Yeah, when I'm running a load, I have their magnets for sure.
Yeah, well,
See, and Mr. Visionary, wait till he has a major repair. I've got a major repair today. So I just read that comment. I wasn't even looking at it. Yeah. I understand that aspect. Like, I know that these things come. I just understood that when it comes down to it, I know I wasn't going to go the route of, going to the mainstream mechanic shop that's going to charge you an arm and a leg. I knew that even though it's going to be pricey, I know it's going to be, the cost will be probably half, if not less, than, the average person that didn't have that around them, or that, like, just the prior knowledge of knowing that.
So it's a Vortec. So you got a what's in there? A Vortec engine, right? 6.0? That's a Vortec, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your transmission probably gonna be about
a rebuild probably gonna cost me plus minus about two grand maybe.
It ain't gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
Depending on what they charge to put it in, but yeah, the transmission.
No, that's gonna be with the work. The guy here, like, that's why I called around knowing, like, I'm gonna call the people that work on their trucks and have had work, because they're gonna have knowledge. They've had their trucks, their transmissions, their differentials rebuilt. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call them first and have them point me in the right direction. And that's how I got. That's where I got my.
How many miles is on that thing now?
Oh yeah, just shoot. And see that, like, even with the ignorance, the fact of knowing some stuff is, like, I put on almost 200,000 on that truck alone. So, if you were completely running at a loss, you couldn't have done it for that many miles.
It depends.
So even though I might not know all my numbers, which is despite and fair.
It depends, because you have a lot of external help. So
100%.
So you could potentially be operating at a loss. You have external help that's alleviating some of your burden. So you're
I definitely agree with that.
Different, but if the external help ceases, then you'll start to see the losses accumulate, and it'll be a little bit more visible when you
you're right.
Off in the land.
You're right.
And that's different when you got some entities that softening the land for you every time you hit a bump in the road. You know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you know, I'm looking at this thing that you did today or yesterday or last night, where you ran, you know, for $1.75, 360, 370, however many miles it was, and then you turn around and came back.
Which wasn't smart, of course, but because what happened, I'm glad I did. Because if I didn't turn around, I was thinking of my initial plan was maybe to stick around because sometimes things do come out on Saturday. But had I done that and booked a load, and then this happens with a load, you got a lot more issues.
No, what I was about to say is, you know, I'm curious to know what your cost is. Like, how much is it costing you to operate? I'm really curious to know what a 15-footer that's running OTR. I'm curious to know what that's, because then you're dealing with gasoline versus diesel.
Yeah.
That's what I asked you, because I was curious to know, because your situation, this is a very rare situation. So I really was intrigued on knowing, and not from like, I know you think I'm doing it for the content. I was just wanted to know, like, bro, what's a 15?
No, I hear you. I hear you too. I hear that.
That's why I asked you, because my 16 footers, I have the same 16 footers, but they're 4.8s. So I was just curious.
Hey, Mark, this is I wanted to call in a long time before. I was hesitant for the fact of, I'm like, I know this is going to come up and I'm going to look like a fool, but I need it. Like, so that's why I'm like, no, fuck it, I need to call in. I didn't do the math. That's why I kind of like, there was times I wanted to call in just based off of the topic, because there's some insights I've given, whether it's right or wrong.
I wasn't even planning on like doing accountability, because tomorrow I think I'm gonna do the call-in show. So mentally, I've just been preparing. Like, that's why I'm kind of chilling. I haven't really, like, I should have hit this button on you. I should have hit that. Like, I'm really just chilling right now. Like, I'm due. I should have hit that a bunch of times. Yeah, but I'm not. Like, when I do certain topics, I expect certain types of calls. When I do the call-in show, mentally, I prepare myself for that. Like,
you asked how many miles I got on there. My bad. I interrupted you. My fault.
I wasn't expecting to get one of these types of, calls. That's why, like, mentally, I just don't even want to, like, I'm not there, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Even there.
I hear you. I hear you.
So I'm just tweaking right now, because I'm listening to this and I'm just like, bro. First, when you hit me with you running up, because I'm looking like you talking about you OTR, so I happen to glance over, because I seen you in the chat, and I'm looking. I'm like, is that a mom's attic? Like, what type of 26 foot is that, a U-Haul? And then I got a little closer, because the thumbnail kind of small. I'm like, no, that's like a 16. That's when I asked you, and I'm like, oh, you running OTR and you was like,
and then I can't even give you a proper answer.
This a 14. I'm like, damn, what's your cost per mile for something like that? You dig what I'm saying? So I expected,
and then I hit you with the bullshit.
I expected you to be like $1 even, or $1.01 or 99 cents or something. I was just curious, and then when you hit me with
you're 100% right. Like,
you don't know.
Like, y'all,
and then
the flag in the comments is well deserved, like 100%.
Yeah, so,
and that's why I was saying, like, you should. I wouldn't first recommend it, in general, because I've seen what it is out there, and then you're gonna have more people that are just as, and probably a lot more ignorant, that will get on there that had no prior knowledge. I at least knew what the OTR life was before getting into owning my truck.
But
I've had experience. I used to be a driver.
Why accept the fact of being ignorant? You keep saying, I know I'm ignorant. I know. If you know, why be it? Why be ignorant? Why know you don't?
I ask myself that same question, Mark.
So okay, so if you ask yourself that same question, what answer do you give yourself? What's the answer yourself gives yourself?
Oh man, I gotta do better, Mark. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I didn't. I gave you the real. You asked me, I told you. I could have made some shit up.
Are you white?
Yeah.
Man,
my grandson.
Hey,
I
get this from white guys, man. What's going on, big dog?
I'm not like white. No, I mean a white skin.
Usually the white guys be on point. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, listen,
Hey, I'm a white guy, grew up from that Section 8 life. Come on.
you changed my little perspective around this joint, man. What's
Hey,
going on, man?
the white immigrant whose family came and we did the whole Section 8 and had to come here the right way back in 97. So that's even more of a spit in the face of why you're doing shit right.
Man,
I agree.
I didn't know white people
Talking
got
shit to
down like
myself
that.
right now.
I didn't know white people got down like that, bro. I thought y'all had y'all shit together, but man, I didn't. Hey man, I didn't change my.
Hey, a lot of us do.
Bro.
I hit the tweaking button, bro.
Hey, you want me to hit it? I hit it.
You tweaking.
Hey man, shit. Hey, what side of you say you from Sacramento?
Mark, I appreciate your content. And hopefully you get some good clips because I need to do better, and I knew that. So I was hesitant to call, but I'm like, nah, fuck it, I got to do it. Maybe there'll be a little kick in the butt to get my shit a little better together for sure.
Yeah, I didn't really go in on you because I just ain't in the, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. If you would have caught me like another day, man, I would have, man, I got buttons back here that I ain't used yet. I could have used a few buttons on you and shit, but I just really ain't in the mood today, man. So
hey, Chucky, if you knew better, you do better.
You got lucky.
You're right.
You got lucky.
I got lucky many times. Like that shit, you know.
You call me.
That's definitely. I'm grateful for the grace that God showed me because with it, I shouldn't have been here this long.
With you, big dog, you lucky, and I don't know why I ain't in the mood. Maybe it's the weather or something. I'm sitting up and contemplating. Don't want to go to the gym.
Because you know, there's a little self accountability of understanding. I'm tweaking. Like, you know, some people just that come on your show, they're trying to be like, nah, but no. I know I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, man, you tweaking, bro, on the real. Like, you took that load today for 87 cents, bro, and you ain't even in a cargo van. That's like cargo van money, bro. You in a box.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it was a 14 footer or whatever, but that's crazy. Like I don't know. Maybe that was profitable for you. See, that's the thing. We don't know. It might have been profitable for you. We don't know. That's why I was curious to know what a 14-foot box truck's OTR cost is, because 87.5 cents a mile might be profitable for you. I don't know. You might be operating at a 50-cent cost per mile for all we know. You might have made 37.5 cents a mile on that. I don't know. How you recoup the money for the truck?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Hold on, but you over in California, man. So regular and leaded over there like $6-7 a gallon.
No. That it was at one point, and that's probably in LA. Right now, $3.89 I fueled up for because I just fueled up with 97. So I know gas dropped a little bit. It's usually been around $4, a little over $4. But
you said
yeah, I fueled up $3.89 today.
You put what you put up in your tank?
87.
You put 87 in there, and 87 like 380 something over there.
Yeah, 387, 389, I believe I fueled up for in the morning.
How much it cost to fill up?
I got 30-gallon tank, so what?
120
at most.
Yeah. And going and coming, you probably had to fill up. You filled up twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm real familiar.
2.5 technically on me. Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
400 miles.
So
800 miles total.
So we're looking at about 250 in fuel.
In fuel. Yeah. And then I know my insurance comes down about $20 a day when you divide it by the month.
You might be, I don't know, bro, because that's why I was curious. What about tolls and other costs? What about your leasing fee? What about the fees that they charging you?
Oh no! Hey! Well, here's another thing. See, that's the way these companies work. So I don't know what they make off of me. I just know exactly. I give them the number, and that's what I'm getting. They're not getting anything out of that number. So they're getting whatever they're getting.
So you told them you'll take it. You told them $1.75, or that's what they told you?
I told them I'm good with $1.75.
So you
Yeah.
gave him that rate.
I try to get more. I try to get more. Try to negotiate, or I try because I didn't actually want to go down to LA this on a Friday. They're like this is the what do they call it, the target, that they're not going to go more than that, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Which I was hesitant. Well, I wasn't happy with it. Definitely don't get me wrong on that. But I did still do it, and maybe it was for the good, because if I hadn't done that and I stayed home, which I was fine with too, and then if I would have went on the road with another load come Monday, and then the transmission thing happened, it would have been a lot worse. So I'm definitely grateful.
No, because the transmission thing, you knew that was coming. Like, you got to.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You felt that thing slipping, bro. Don't the
No,
transmission?
definitely not, Mark. No, definitely not. I know what you're talking about. I've had transmission problems with other vehicles. No, this came out. This just out of, there wasn't tripping. It just, the crazy part is it didn't trip out in the hills of the grapevine or none of that. This was, I got back on flat road. This is it was due. So, and that's another ignorance, because usually I'm all my shit with its maintenance. This one, we'll see. It might have been a solenoid. The truck's got 330,000 right now.
Okay.
I got it with 142, and we're probably around maybe 200. We changed out the torque converter, did the transmission flush. So I'm overdue on the transmission flush myself. Whether that's the culprit, it could be. I could be telling them myself. I might, I could have done it, because everything else I've been on. The transmission thing, I mean, 300-something thousand. It is their life. There's no excuse, but
you didn't get any indications that transmission was going bad. Like, I've had a lot of Chevys in my lifetime, bro.
No, and that's the crazy part, because then I checked on the fluid.
It was never slipping or nothing, bro.
No, absolutely. That's the crazy part. I'm crazy that I pay attention to every little detail. I called up. No, that's why it surprised me, because I've had transmission problems with other vehicles. Like I'm definitely I've been around to pay attention. But if it was slipping, there's no way in hell I'm taking the load going through the grapevine. Like I might be ignorant, but not like completely stupid.
I don't know. I just feel like usually a transmission, you get an indicator that is going.
And you're right. Usually they start acting up. They'll start kicking.
How you know it's the transmission?
Oh, as soon as because it came out of nowhere and the RPMs just started going up. It wouldn't move. You shut it off. You start it. It'll
in 3 manual and see if it went.
Oh yeah, I tried all the other ones. Yeah, and then right after that, the check engine light popped on, and I have my scanner. They all showed for the transmission. I got a little scanner with me at all times, And I've had, I knew what a transmission. I mean, definitely have that in the background of understanding that, okay, your transmission just took a dump.
Well, man, I hope it works out for you, man.
Hey, I'm Jackson. Come on, bro. Don't do that. How can I not know what if you paid attention, I definitely told you I came up in the upbringing of being around this type of stuff. I know when a transmission went out. I know how to try put it in different gears. And if it ain't moving, you got a transmission problem, whether something popped out or whether your solenoid went out or got stuck or stuck and open. Come on, bro. Don't do that. I'm going to start reading the comments. And I can make some of y'all look dumb too, even though I look dumb. Don't do that.
All right, well.
Don't do that. I didn't survive 2 years just being complete, don't know shit. I might not be business oriented to the degree that I should, do better at 100%, but I would have failed a long time ago if I didn't know a couple things. No, I'm not happy being away from family. Hence why I started getting closer. So wrong again, Narco.
I hope it works out, man. I hope whatever it is, it
I appreciate you, Mark.
not.
I know the comments are actually. You know what? This is where you say stay out of the comments because they gonna make you. I'm gonna stay out of them comments because
Hey, man, look,
I'm sure
comment.
they're doing what they're supposed to do based off of what they heard out of my mouth. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
I just think you should know what it's costing you to run, bro. That's the only thing.
And you're 100% correct. You're right on that.
You know, I think. I mean, here's the thing. I say it all the time, and I know you're one of the ones that watch. I see you in the chat all the time, and it's just crazy to me that I could say the same thing 1,000,001 times, and people still continue to do what's not in their best interest. To me, I don't understand it. I don't get it, bro.
Mark, hold me to it though. I'm gonna call back.
Huh?
I'm gonna have it down. I'm gonna have my CPM. Next time I call in, I'm not gonna give it like, hey, I'm gonna call in tomorrow kind of thing. But when I call in next, I'm gonna have it down.
It's not just that. It's just I just don't understand it, bro. Like I don't understand. Like why do you what's how old are you?
Your reaction is the same reaction I give myself. I'm not shying away from
But
it.
here's the
Like
thing.
there's definitely some screws loose.
Why continuously do it to yourself? Why? If
Can't
you
even give you
know it,
that.
why do it? How old are you?
About to be 34.
Why do it if you know is
Hey, Tell, you wrong too. They don't write stuff down. I mean, actually, I don't know if I'm reading the correct stuff. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. I write everything down. That's why it's actually worse on me that I don't have the CPM because I write everything down.
Here's what I'm saying. If you know it, if you know what you're doing is not right, you're operating blind. You don't really know if you're winning. You don't know if you're losing. You think you're winning because you're still here. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you could be losing. You know what I'm saying? You just not out yet. You're surviving a little bit longer than the next person who's doing the same shit, bro. I just don't understand why, if you know what you're doing is wrong, why continuously do it? If you know the chick is burning, if you know she burning, she already done gave you the clap. She done gave
right.
you all types of gonorrhea, all types of just fuck shit. And you go get cured, but she don't.
Hey, Tell, you don't know me, so that comment is all for ignorant. I don't study my notes. I study my notes.
No, you listen. You paying attention to the wrong shit. I just asked you a question. If you know the chick burning,
see, you're right.
You go take the big horse pill, but she don't go take the big horse pill. Is you gonna hit the chick again?
Fuck no.
I don't. Why would you?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do it, bro?
Ignorance. That's probably the only right answer. Just ignorance. There's no right. There's no way to put it. It's,
you must don't like making.
I need to do better.
You must don't like.
I need to do better. I know.
Yeah, you must don't really like making money.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Because if you really like the money and like making money, you gonna make sure. One, you gonna know one.
Hey, no, I ain't bragging.
You said what?
Nah. See, once again, reading comments. I need to turn them off real quick.
Paying no attention to what I'm saying. Go ahead and go in the comments and have fun, bro. You ain't.
I'm good. I'm out. I turned them off.
You ain't listening.
I was listening before that. Then I wasn't even into them. I shouldn't have gotten into them.
Yeah, I just don't see how y'all like money, bro. Y'all can't like it, bro. Y'all can't like it. Because you would be obsessed with the numbers, bro. I love money, bro. I just love that shit. That shit make me feel so good. It's probably almost a fucking sin the how I like money and shit.
Like, yeah, you're right.
Like money so much, it might be an actual sin. I gotta look and I gotta talk to my OG about like, you know what I'm saying? Because Like I'm obsessed with numbers, bro. So anything I'm a part of, like I want to know if it's I don't like to lose it. I like to make it
Right.
and make more of it and make more of it. I don't mind spending it. I like spending it. That's why we make it. But I also like to make more of it. And I need to make sure that I'm making more than I'm spending. And I need to make sure that the money that's coming in is making more money. So I have to do math. I have to be obsessed with the numbers, bro.
That's fair.
I'm not gonna do nothing.
I'm not arguing that.
And I don't know just willy-nilly, bro. The numbers have to make sense. And if I'm doing something at a loss, I'm doing it purposely at a loss for a tax, right? Like everything that I do, there's a purpose behind it. If I go into something at a loss, I'm purposely going in at a loss because I need a write-off. I'm using it to my advantage. If you're not in a situation where you can take losses.
What? No, you're right. That's why I said when I first said I said that I'm operating at some level of ignorance where I know I need to do better. That's why I hesitate on calling in for that reason. But it's all good. You gotta be able to own it. I'm not shying away from it at all.
Yeah, so going forward, bro, you need to like really understand what's going on out here in these streets, bro. For real.
You're right. Yeah, no. That's why I said right away. There's nothing I can there's nothing I can contest other than that little gig shit you mentioned for a second. Even that, you're still right.
The gig shit, I really didn't understand what you were saying. I ain't gonna lie to you. I heard you talking, but
That's fine.
that shit didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me. I don't know, bro. I'm not a gigger. I'm not in that world.
Right.
But what you was saying, I don't know, bro. You was talking about the car and.
Right. No, I was doing that with that. Yeah. So it's all good.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think I don't know, bro. I don't know what's up with y'all.
I'm gonna let you cook. I appreciate you taking the time
I ain't gonna cook. Go ahead and do your thing, big dog. I ain't gotta cook. Go ahead and do your thing. You get off. I'm appreciate talking.
I appreciate you for taking the call, and I hope y'all having a good little finger Twitter fest in the comment section. Y'all have a blessed day as well, and enjoy your holidays.
All right, man. Be safe.
Peace.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't get it. I got a headache now. I was just feeling regular at first, but now I got a headache. And I don't even know why. Like I didn't do my thing or nothing.